Hello again, everybody. This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the object editor commentaries. This is where I just create your favorite characters in the Scribblenauts Unlimited object editor. That would be characters or objects, I guess I should say, for today, because we're starting off with the TV as the source object, and we're creating the Nintendo Switch, which is hype right now, just in general, but also it was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night. I'm recording this on December 8th, so it was actually on Wednesday, of course, and it was pretty epic. So starting off with the TV, as I said, and then putting a rectangle over to the right and the letter I, and so you're going to see actually that I'm going to increase and decrease the size of this letter I increase it to move it farther away, but then decrease it to get it back to the size that I want it at, because basically a stamp is any piece that you use to create your object, like this letter I, overall, and so with that, you know, the stamps can only basically go as so far away from your original source object, whether that's a human or humanoid thing, or this TV here, so we can only take it so far away from the TV before it won't go any further. So to get around that, you basically just make it bigger, move it, then make it small again back to the size that you wanted it at. A corned beef is what I typed in to make, well, what's the start of the Switch logo here, that little yin-yang type logo, and a glow stick is going to be a line down the middle of it because it is kind of yin-yang colored, and on the Switch it's all sort of black since the Switch's color palette is gray tones and whatnot. So then I went to the 29-page library, and on the 20th page there's an arm shape in the top right corner, and basically it's just sort of a straight little arm shape. That's going to be for, to our left, that left side kind of part of the yin-yang Switch logo part, and so then a dot is going to be for the little dots on the yin-yang logo. That makes sense, right? And so certainly we're going to need to actually create the Switch console, because this was just the TV and the docking station, but right now we're doing the properties editing, where you can edit health and behaviors and stuff like that, and scripting, and so this is where I just like to read background information and fun facts about whatever we create in this series. So let's go. We'll discuss everything, or at least very many things that we know about the Nintendo Switch at this point. It's the upcoming console from Nintendo that combines a home and portable console experience into a single unit. Although the Switch itself is a single unit, there are so many accessories and control methods already, and the public hasn't even really gotten the full lowdown from Nintendo at the time of this recording, which is, again, early December 2016, and more information is even due out on January 12th, 2017. You can notice joysticks and buttons on the sides of the Switch, which are actually the Joy-Con left and right attachments when you slide them onto the side grooves, or you can attach those to the Joy-Con grip for a more conventional controller approach. You can also play with the Joy-Con portably, like a Wiimote nunchuck kind of deal, although I look at some of the images of people playing this way, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this, a controller for ants? Because it seems like they're a bit tiny for that playstyle. But anyway, you can see on screen I'm just adding in a power LED if you want to have that as a minus sign. I'll probably take it away from my final design, but I'm just showing you in case you wanted it. And so there's also the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and the Switch itself can be held or put up on a little kickstand, and we can confirm from the preview video 2 months ago that Nintendo dropped that the Switch was playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, Mario Kart presumably 8 with some kind of update to it, probably NBA 2K17, a brand new Mario platform game, and a Splatoon update or sequel kind of thing. Other companies like Ubi and Sega also have announced games for it, and a lot of other third parties. You can see on screen here if you want to kind of make, this will affect the TV whether it's on or off, but this is just, I guess, a little Scribblenauts styled mock-up of Zelda Breath of the Wild if you want to do something like that, I guess. But again, whether the TV's off or on, it will have this on it, so just be aware. We're going to do some cool scripting later on that may affect that, so I'm just letting you know now. And the Switch is powered by a version of NVIDIA's Tegra mobile processor, and physical copies of the games are even sold as small cartridges or cards like 3DS games. There may be a bit more information that wasn't included here for the sake of time, I guess, but that's really a lot of it. And here in Scribblenauts, I did script that Switch TV object so that when the Switch TV item is filled, it will then activate, and you want to be sure that when you edit the activate script, you want to make sure that it activates itself and not the trigger target. Then when it's emptied, it will deactivate, again, itself, not the trigger target. You need to edit that. And so that basically means that the TV will turn on or off whether the Switch is in there, and so it's like when you put the Switch down on the docking station, and then it transfers the video to the TV, so it'll be that effect. You'll see it in a second. So we started off with the controller as the source object. This is going to be the actual Switch console. We've got glass. Of course, you want to do raw, not the container glass. The glass will be for the screen, and then a glow stick up and down. So on the top and bottom, painted all the way black. The glow sticks are the top part, and then the I, that's letter I again, we're just putting to either side side of the glass. And so this is looking all right. So I'm just doing a few more adjustments, of course. And then after that, we can go ahead and type in corned beef. We're using that again. It's kind of funny that corned beef, out of all things, is being used a lot right here on the Switch. But anyway, these are going to be for the Joy-Con. So we're actually doing a corned beef on the left side and on the right side. So those are for the Joy-Con controller attachments. Again, kind of the base of them. And then a golf ball, we can type in that and paint it black, move it over here. And again, you're going to need to do that kind of increasing the size and then decreasing it back down to the size that you want it to be at so that it will go away from the controller source that we started with in the correct position. A cuttlefish. Type that in and then grab this middle arm tentacle piece, but the one that's very close to the cuttlefish's head. So we're going to use that to be basically the minus sign as well as the plus sign. We're going to do it twice for the plus sign and of course paint that all the way black. You can see that I have to do a lot of increasing and decreasing for that, so hopefully you notice what I'm talking about by this point with that whole decrease increase thing. PEA, of course that spells P, and we're going to use the little P for the face buttons X, Y, A, B over here to our right. So you're of course going to need to do 4 of those, and that's going to require a lot of size manipulation here, so you can see it going very big, very small, and that looks good. They're all in place as they need to be. And so then I'm going to type in a dory, and instead of the boat, you're going to want the fish, and of course grab the fin of that. Hopefully you saw that. And these will be for the little home buttons and things that are on both sides. Home and power or sharing, but we'll put those, of course, where they should go. And then I've used a plus sign, and the plus sign is actually, this is just kind of going to be a different way that we can create the buttons on the other Joy-Con controller to our left. You know, they have the directional arrows, so it's like the C buttons in essence. So we put a BB in the middle of all of that and painted the BB the same color as those Joy-Con bases. So that makes it look like there are 4 little buttons around that. And then just to kind of finish it all off, we did the letter I down at the bottom because there is that groove kind of where it can lock in and slide in, I guess, and attach to the docking station and transfer the image. And so here, just light scripting. You don't really need to do a whole lot on the Switch actual item. But here's where we can kind of show off that script finally. So you've got the Switch and the Switch TV with the docking station next to it that we custom created. And so here we can test out the script by dropping the Switch into that, and then you can see that the TV does activate. Yes, that is awesome. And so then I'll go ahead and empty it just to show you that again, the picture goes away once I empty it. So it is, just to reiterate, it's like putting the Switch into the docking station so that you can play on TV and then taking it out to play portably. If you want to put that kind of Legend of Zelda image that's over here, Breath of the Wild, or any game that you want to choose, you know, to kind of make a background for, you could put it on the Switch, and that might be even more realistic on your Switch item, but you would need to make the Switch item pretty big or make the background image pretty small, because the Switch console is obviously smaller here in Scribblenauts than we did the TV, which makes sense, right? That's more realistic proportions anyway. So that's all good, and here's kind of a look at, I mentioned, you know, even if you turn the TV on or off, when you've put some stamps over it, it doesn't disappear or go away or anything, so it's like, really, you can't turn the TV off when you do that. So just a word to the wise if you're creating it in that style. But yes, I am super excited for the Switch, of course. I was a big time proponent of the Wii U, and I still don't think that it failed. You could just say that perhaps it failed in terms of selling consoles and certain aspects of marketing and some other things, but like the games, for example, those are some of the greatest console experiences that I thought were out in that generation. And it was a pretty unique idea, and it was something that I think was, personally, I really liked it, you know, having the gamepad and a second screen experience and all of that. But we won't get into everything with that. We could go on a million tangents there, but I'm certainly going to be getting a Switch as soon as I can. If that's launch day, if that's midnight release or something like that, I'm going to get it as quick as possible, and I will absolutely make day one videos for the Switch, so I hope you stay tuned to this channel here for that if you're excited for that. And of course, check out dkcgaming.com. There's a link in the description to an article that I wrote. That's my news website that I run with some other people, and so there is an article about the Switch, or a few articles about the Switch on there. And so please leave a like, leave a comment on what you want to see next, and I will create whatever is most popular and most requested by the most amount of different viewers each week, and I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
So I step on other lives' twists and turns, and I made the cycles end with dignity and courage. Now I hope to God that everyone can learn something from what I say, and hopefully you flourish. Getting down to the matter, let's look at it more. My words ain't meant to be about wage of war.